For more information on my programs, please visit masajadi.com. That's MASSAJADY.com. Hello, this is Masajadi. Welcome to my podcast, Exponential Intelligence. This is episode 109, Exponential Intelligence and Buddha. Before we start, we've got a lot of events coming up. We're going to be back in the UK later on this year. We'll be in hopefully we'll be in France again, and then we'll be in San Francisco. Again, take a look at the events calendar at masajadi.com for the details. We're going to be doing a lot of online events as well throughout the year. So if you're new to me, take a look at it. And also, if you're new to me, I would start on episode, say 60 and above, just to get a feel on what exponential intelligence is about. Tonight's episode, like I said earlier, EI, Exponential Intelligence, and Buddha. We're going to go through the Buddhism faith, see the differences, the parallels between exponential intelligence, what I teach compared to what the Buddha taught, and maybe some indiscrepancies between the two, and maybe some clarifications for you as a note. And then before I get into the notes, we'll also do a meta healing where I'll pull in the frequencies of Buddha for you to get to understand what his frequencies was really all about outside of the religion. Right? So, as before, these questions were gathered from your thoughts. So we're going to go down and answer some of your questions that you may have. So let's just jump right in. What are the distortions that exist in Buddhism today? We're going to go through and go through it in detail on that. Why don't we go through the basic tenets of Buddhism and go in detail? There's 4 basic tenets in Buddhism. So we'll just go through the details. I'll read the descriptions, and then we'll continue on with the questions. That way we get a solid understanding of what Buddhism is about, what exponential intelligence is about, and then what we can take away from both of it. As a note, if you're a Buddhist, if you're thinking about Buddhism, I'm not here to dissuade you in any way. I'm not here to pull you into another paradigm or another belief system. I'm here to clarify Buddhism for you the way Buddha, the true Buddha, imagined it, outside of the distortions of thousands of years, to help you understand, again, your religion even more. The basic tenets of Buddhism. There's 4 noble truths on this. The first one is suffering. In this world, people suffer. What is suffering? Wanting wealth when one is poor, that's suffering. Desiring youth when one is middle-aged. Feeling pain but wanting to be free of pain. Having cake for your birthday, and so on and so on. So it's from the trivial to the profound. Suffering is merely the gap between what one wants to the world and what really is. The greater the gap, the greater the suffering. So what does exponential intelligence talk about? The way, yes, there is suffering involved, and the suffering is for you not to really learn or understand. Like Buddhism, you have to go suffer. You have to suffer from this world. You have to void yourself. Right? You have to void yourself from anything pleasurable. Right? Sex, marriage, or sex, children, wealth of any form, foods, anything like that, and then again suffer. But is that what it's really about? Not so much. Is that one path that you can take to get enlightened? Yes, and that's where the distortion comes in. Okay? EI basically sees the same thing as the Buddha did, but the difference is that EI takes it a little step, one step further. Okay? So in Buddhism, overall, and this is the concept of suffering, you void yourself for any physical pleasure. Okay? And what you do is that then you can truly connect to, say, your higher self or your sense of self, okay? Or that oneness that they talk about. Not necessarily say a God. I don't believe they. I don't think they believe in a one God, right? So they have goddesses and so on. Um, but again, and that's maybe outside the Buddhism religion, but it's mostly connecting to that oneness that they see. EI actually connects to that oneness. So EI sees that as well. There's, say, one source that everything generates from. They might not believe in that one source, but they believe in that oneness of the world, nature, the oneness of us being part of that. So how do you blend that back in? That's the journey. Uh, in their scenario, and there's nothing wrong with it. You remove yourself to understand that you are who you are outside of the pleasures of life, so to speak. But that's just one source. The way most Buddhists do it, though, and the way Buddha did it, is totally off center. Right? Buddha did it because he ascended himself to a higher level, right? And then he let go of the physical pleasures of life. Most Buddhists do it the opposite. And what I mean by that is that they let go of the pleasures of life to ascend higher. Okay? Again, Buddha did it very simply. He ascended higher, thus, he didn't need the pleasures of life, so he was not attached to it. And that's a major, major difference. Right? Because in, say, the traditional Buddhist way, or how most Buddhists do it, they create a void, they create a gap that they cannot fill. Okay? That's why there's always lack. That's all why there's always wanting. That's why you see some of the Buddhists, some extreme Buddhists, commit rape and assault women and so on like that. It's not a flagrant, but again, that's why that happens. Right? Same thing with the Catholic religion, where the priests, they assault young boys, the altar boys, and so on like that, because it's condoned that you're not supposed to have, say, sex or in any way, right? So there's a gap that needs to be filled. We're all humans. We're supposed to be here, understanding the human experience. Buddhism, say, voids us of that human experience, or the way the traditional Buddhism has come to be. Again, the true Buddha, Siddhartha, he could walk away with that with no distortion, um, because he was enlightened to the point. Okay, so that's the huge difference. And again, very similar to EI. What I help you with, right, and what most people go through is like in the elementary or in the beginning sessions of exponential intelligence, or when you come to me, you're always worried about, Moss, I need a better job, I need a better relationship, I'm ill. And then as you ascend higher, well, those things start to fall away. But what's really important, I can tell exactly, say, where you are on the path of enlightenment. You start to go, Moss, you know what? Just work on me. Okay? Because you've understood, or you've ascended to a higher level, that you know that the abundance that you are looking for naturally comes to you when you're connected to, say, pure source and your higher self. The same way with Buddhism, right? So exponential intelligence uh, really just takes Buddhism, the way Buddha taught it, one step further. Right? He was happy without any other, say, abundance or physicalness of this world. Okay? And that's totally fine for him. But, as humanity, think of it as it just can't exist. Infrastructure of being human or in physical form throughout just does not work well. If everybody was Buddhist, there would be no propagation because there would be no sex. So again, um, Exponential intelligence allows you to, say, remove all the wantings and desires, okay? And then what happens is it comes back to you, since there's no distortion in you or within you. Since there's no distortion, there's no ego, part of Buddhism, removing your ego, right? What happens is that you can have the abundance, you can have the wealth, you can have, the relationships, right? The husband, wife, or whatever intimate relationships that are out there without distorting you. Okay? And that's the key. You get to understand the beauty of the human form, the density that we've created. And just going a little deeper, if you're voiding yourself of all the details of the human form, the creator that created, whether you believe in pure source or not, obviously something or some, say, presence did create the human form. It just didn't happen by chance, right? Um, think of it. Just think of the perfection that came into existence, right, by knowing your body. Look at the human form. Look at what it can do. Look at the thousands of different, say, chemical interactions that happen to you. Look at the electrical impulses that run through your brain just to get you to do simple things. Right? It is so immaculately, not immaculately, but so purely conceived. And it is in such a grand honor to be in physical form. Why would you want to walk away from that? So, overall, yes, suffering does help you ascend higher. Okay? And in true suffering, you walk away, say, from foods that pleases you. You you hold off on, say, drinking or eating, just like fasting, like the Muslims do. Those are all ways of, say, harnessing or pulling in the reins of your ego. Okay? So, in that sense, first tenet, suffering is great, but going beyond that, it gets distorted. Go to the second, the truth, causation. And I'm just reading off tenets of Buddhism. If you go to chakra treat, yeah, chakratreat.com. Okay? So it's their definitions, and I was just researching. It's pretty much the same. So the second is causation. Desire, wanting people, wanting things to be different. People are not satisfied with the way things are. People try to fix things so they are perfect, improve things so they are better. That human trait is the source of suffering. Yes, that is true as well. But most individuals, most Buddhisms do not understand that the reason why they are suffering is not a removal of that process. Okay? It really is about those programs that run, say, underneath the removal of the process. And just case in point, just think of something that you've tried to remove for yourself. For example, say you're addicted to alcohol or drugs or women or chocolate or whatever it might be. Right? You pull away, you go hibernate in a cave and walk away from all that stuff. That pattern still exists in you. Okay? You haven't, say, removed it. And you can't become enlightened if you haven't removed the pattern. Because, well, what happens is that that pattern still exists. You come back out of hibernation. You come into the world, no matter how long it's been. That pattern still exists. You're still going to get addicted to alcohol or whatever else, right? Unless you suppress it. So, is that really removing the pattern, or is that really becoming enlightened just because you didn't physically, they go through the actions of eating the chocolate or alcohol or the sex or whatever it is? No, it's not. That's not true completion. That's not true ascension because there's still a desire. You're just suppressing that desire. again, you're suppressing those programs. Right? Like Alcoholics Anonymous, it's a great, great, great um, organization. I'm sure it's helped millions of people. But the way they do it, and it's unbelievable the success level that they have is that they help the people through sheer willpower. But the problem with that, and it's the same thing with the exact same thing that I see, the problem of, say, the way Buddhism is come to be, not the way the Buddha did it, but again, the way Buddhism, the religion, is come to be, is that they suppress, your programs that are running in you. So, for example, in AA, right? They clean you up, they make you sober. However, say you go into a bar, and this is their their sayings, not mine. They go into a bar, they smell alcohol, that desire comes back, right? And it's all over again, probably even worse. That's not eliminating the problem. That's not freeing yourself from the burdens. That's just suppressing it, walking away from it. It still exists. It's like walking away from your shadow. You cannot walk away from your shadow in this scenario. Okay? True enlightenment is that you become so transparent, so removed of, say, human identity that you have no shadow. That's how clear you are. And then there's no desires. And then when you come in, have chocolate, women, men, alcohol, again, since there's no addictions, those things, those physical things, money, any greed, uh, any, not any greed, let's see, any substances that we think are greedy, right, can be used for enlightenment. That's really the key. The one key with exponential intelligence is that whether it is good or bad, what we deem good or bad, since there is no differentiation in Buddhism, everything is pretty much they ban, right? That's why you walk away from everything. Right? A true Buddhism, if you're really true enlightened individual, okay, instead of hiding out in the cave or out, remove yourself of civilization, come into civilization and stand strong and not get tempted. Right? The true Buddha, right? He could do that with no problem, and that's where you want to be. Right? That's where EI gets you as well. Third, cessation. Okay? Each individual creates their own wants and desires. Thus, it is possible for people limiting suffering by eliminating their self-created desires. Right? The ability to eliminate suffering is inherent in all, whether one's intelligent and well-read. One does not need to call upon some god or goddess, teacher or guru, doctor or lawyer to save one from suffering. EI sees it the same way. That's why I'm not your guru. However, as far as a teacher, yes, the Buddha, he taught. So again, however, you do not need your teacher to ascend higher. Okay? You are not in conjunction with your teacher to ascend higher. That teacher can guide you, show you the path, tell you the pitfalls, what to watch out for, and then you go about it on your own. And I think that's what that reference is about. Okay? It is an independent or soul journey for you. By soul, I mean individual journey uh, for that enlightenment. So again, exponential intelligence basically says the same thing. There was just one more piece. So by eliminating their suffering, again, most Buddhists they think that if they just remove what their desire is or what their want is, the suffering will get removed as well. Right? You just deal with it. But most people don't have, say, the intelligence, the wherewithal, the willing, the fortitude, um, uh, the willpower to do any of that. Right? We just suffer even more and again suppress those wants and desires. So that's not true ascension, like I said before. What we'll do is let's go ahead and take a nice deep breath in. Just working on you as we go through. So just kick back, relax, a nice deep breath in. Just notice where you are. I'll just work on you since we're here. Whether you're new to me, whether you understand what I mean by working on you, it doesn't matter. Just kick back, relax, and you'll soon see. For the Eightfold Path, the Eightfold Path is the method which the Buddha, his followers, teacher, the way to eliminate their desires and wants. Buddha did not teach how to eliminate pain or how to eliminate illness, old age, or death, nor did he teach about the existence or non existence of gods, goddesses, or of supreme being. He only taught about suffering people created and how it can be eliminated. So, again, he is looking at, say, the mechanics of suffering or the physical source of suffering. So he didn't go deeper to the understanding of why that suffering originated or how that suffering originated from. And the difference between Buddhism and EI. Suffering in Buddhism is part of you. Okay? The distortions that you face, the programs that you run in Buddhism, seems like, from what I'm tapping in, is all, say, your response. Well, your fault or your responsibility. EI sees it as your responsibility, not necessarily your fault. Um, the one thing that's important, part of this as well, is that he did not teach to eliminate pain or how to eliminate illness, old age, death. Obviously, it's part of the process of ascension, right? That you don't have to say die, you just transform. And that's the way EI looks at it. That's the way that Jesus or Buddha or Muhammad, they didn't really die. They just like left their bodies when it was time and then ascended into those higher realms. That's where you want to be as well. Okay? So that's pretty much the same. One thing about gods or goddesses, and then the teachers, kind of going back to the cessation, uh, where you don't need, to call upon a god or goddess or teacher, guru, and then into for the Eightfold Path, and then we'll get into the Eightfold Path. Is that you're right, or Buddhism is right. You don't need a god to ascend higher. In EI, it's pretty much the same. God, if you look at it in, say, a scientific point of view, is, say, um, is that is the background, right, or the global setting, as I call it, right? God is created, say, or pure source, as I call it, because again, God is distorted, or has been distorted. Pure source basically has given you all the tools, all the possibilities for this reality. Okay? And by the way, God, or pure source, created spirits to help, say, create the tools as well. So all the desires that could ever be, uh, has been created. And then for us to understand, see, the physicalness of this world, right? There has to be, um, black and white. There has to be extremes. There has to be opposites. Otherwise, we would not know exactly why the physical existence that we have. We wouldn't know the color. We wouldn't know hot if there was no cold, right? We would not know greatness if there was no, say, suffering. We would not know a kindness if there was not, well, the opposite of kindness, right? Being hateful and so on. So that's why those things exist. Again, we are here in opposites to define exactly where we are in a coordinate system. It's nothing else. It's not about being good or bad. It's got nothing to do with that. It just isn't. It allows you to exactly understand where you are in this fourth dimensional coordinate. All it's about. Um, and basically, in the Buddhism type. Um, and I kind of got off the subject here. In Buddhism, it's about, say, the physicalness of this world being good or bad, right? Where everything is pretty much bad or a no. So you could never exist in this physical form if you did not understand good or bad. So you can't void yourself from it because well, why did you come into physical existence? So, to understand true enlightenment, you would have to go through, and maybe this is what Buddha was talking about, right? To, again, from that EI perspective, you would have to go through true suffering, right? To master the world, right? Or to master this physical existence, as EI puts it, it's not moving away from the darkness and into the light, because that will distort you as well. And that's what most Buddhists try to do. They move away well, pretty much from everything to move into the light. And again, what happens is you come back into the darkness and say it devours you because you didn't have control, you didn't have strength over that. And again, that's not Buddha. It's the way it's been taught. As a note, Buddhism never wanted a religion. Uh, it came to be, though. So, again, that's a distortion in itself. In EI, and I have a podcast on this, what you want to do, right? Imagine this: there's a ladder, and you have brightness, right, or brilliance, or complete enlightenment on one side. On the other side, you have, say, complete darkness. Both extremes. You wanna be right in the middle. Right? And by the way, both sides can destroy you, can kill you, um, either physically and then on the spirit side as well. Okay, in different methods. I'm not going to get into that here. That's a podcast that I've done. So if you're interested, take a look at that. But what you do is you want to master both sides so you can ascend through it, and then there is no, say, you're neutral. When you're neutral, you are master of all that's around you, right? Both light and dark, you're master. If you moved over to the light, you come into the dark. Again, the dark will chew you up, okay? Or vice versa. It's the same thing, and that's not true enlightenment either, right? You want to get to the point, and this was Buddha's point, is that you want to get to the point where you transcend so high that you become so expanded that you entertain both light and dark within you, and then both sides collapse, and there's a space of nothingness. And that's his true message. So how do you get there? Well, EI nowadays is probably the fastest way to get to that point, right? To ascend high enough where there is no, say, extremes anymore, because it's not needed, because you are living in an enlightened being. There's not nothing needed. However, when you are at that level and you come back down in physical form, everything can be blessed upon you, and there's no distortion. And that's what Buddha wanted to eliminate, right? The distortion. He didn't really want to eliminate, say, the abundance of the world. You really understand his message or him. He just wanted you to, say, move away, because the abundance of the world distorts if you're not properly, or if you're not at that higher level, right? Or true ascendant. So, um, and getting back to my point about God or pure source, kind of went off the track here. So getting back to God, EI understands that, again, EI, pure source, has created a global setting for you, is giving you all the tools. Think of it this way: it's created a huge smorgasbord for you. Okay, there's items on the plate that are really really good for you. Okay, and then there's choices on you for you that are really really bad for you. Okay? Since there's free will, right, you get to choose what you're going to have this lifetime. Right? So make wise choices. And that's the way God is. You don't have to look up to God. You don't have to reach out to God. EI never says that. Again, and I covered this in another podcast as well. When I went through the dark times, I reached out to God and there was no answer. By the way, most of us, and this is a side note, I'm just reading you guys, most of us, they reach out to God. Something other than God comes in to help you out, and that's where you get distorted, or where you've been distorted. So, um, and time after time after time, I reached out in my despair, and God never showed up until I strengthened. I never gave up. I strengthened, and I'm going, so why weren't you there before? Because, well, that would be part of coming in with free will. That's part of free will to help you understand that I've already given you all the things here for you already. It's you have to make the proper choices in physical consciousness and then in spiritual consciousness. So very similar to Buddhism, where we don't look outside of ourselves, right? We don't look for a higher order. That order is already around us. We just have to utilize it better, right? We have to wake up our higher spirit. Let's go ahead and take a nice deep breath in. We'll jump into the meditation or meta healing. If you don't know what a meta healing is, in a nutshell, I guide you into a nice deep state of meditation, right, where you focus on your physical form, and then I'll work on you at your source code. If you won't call it your spirit, that's fine to help awaken your spirit or edit your source code. And then together, put both our efforts together, and that's where true enlightenment comes. Much easier, much faster than pretty much anything that's out there. So let's go ahead and take a nice deep breath in, just noticing where you are, hopefully standing up, just breaking away from all those patterns if you can physically stand up. If you want to sit down or lie down, that's good too. But if you feel the urge to stand up, go ahead and do so. Follow your spirit. Uh, your way didn't work out well, so follow your spirit or awaken spirit. Another strong deep breath in again. Inhaling through the nose, nice and slow, 4 count. Holding it for a few seconds or longer, and exhaling, letting it go through the mouth, nice and slow, nice and disciplined. Discipline in Buddhism, it's a great habit to have. As we settle in, you might notice a relaxation coming through your neck, through your shoulders, through the chest area, and right down into your spine, right into the hips. Beyond meditation, beyond hypnosis, beyond NLP, beyond anything. It's a presence. There are sphere frequencies that I encapsulate around you, again, bypassing physicalness of this reality. Pulling in your trueness, your spirit side. And that's what you're feeling. Strong, deep breath in, connecting to the group. There's a lot of people, I think over 1 million people listen to this podcast. Creates a lot of momentum. There's strength in numbers. Guys, we all want that one desire to be more abundant, more connected. Right? We're all looking the same way. Again, pulling humanity through the same way, helping us, and holding on to that momentum, holding on, pulling us out of those ruts that we face, those shackles that bind us to new territory. Wonderful breath in again, nice and deep. This time asking ourselves, how do I connect to pure source even stronger? And again, that question, how do I connect to pure source even stronger? Nothing religious, nothing spiritual about it. And then settling in. settling in, noticing your chin, your, underneath your chin, your throat, the sternum, the bone that connects the ribs in front. All you have to do is pay attention. Access your source code to help you understand what Buddha really meant. Again, paying attention to your sternum, your throat, setting higher right through the middle of the head, and right through out top of your head. So comparing how Buddha connected to pure source, and then bringing in that same connection for you as you're connecting the same way, basically bringing in Buddha's presence. It's noting your breath, noting the space around you, noticing that column and from the top of your head extending on out into the universe, going deep into your head, through the throat, through the center, right behind your sternum, right into the solar plexus. Perhaps you see pictures of Buddha, light emanating from the solar plexus. Probably how it came about. That was Buddha's way of connecting to what I call pure source. And we'll count to 12. As we count to 12, I'll help you merge with Buddha connected into the way you connect. And a deep breath in. Exhale, 0, 1, 2, 3. Rapidly slowing down time. 4, bit slower. 5, we can disconnect from this existence. 6, go on to 7 as I push you out of time. Time reference. Note how you're feeling. 8, a little distorted, disoriented. Transparent. 9. Floaty. 10. 11. 12. And then pulling you back into Buddhist time, presence. Perhaps noticing the singularity. Breath in again, nice and deep. You can go ahead and leave you in this space for as long as you wish, as long as you stay quietly meditating. Still being that mastermind. As we end, again, never trashing a great master like Buddha, but clarifying this communication to the world that's gotten distorted. And that's the purpose of this podcast. Thanks for being on a call, this podcast. Notice what you notice, and then notice the details. For more information on my programs, please visit masajati.com That's MASSAJADY.com. Or join us on Facebook for more information. We do a lot of Facebook Live.